Hello, beautiful people, and welcome to the Tristcast. I'm your host, Tristan Dario, and I invite you to sit back, relax, catch a vibe, and enjoy the show. Hey y'all, take a moment before you get settled. Follow the Tristcast and leave a rating. Alright, I'll see you in today's episode. Peace. I think we are good, and I am excited. I am so happy. I've been excited to sit down for this pretty much all day. I've been looking forward to this. I want to bring this a little bit closer. That's better. Might be able to be over here now. Okay, cool. What's up, everybody? What's up, my beautiful people? Welcome back to another episode of the Tristcast. If you are new here, my name is Tristan Dario. Just a reminder in case you weren't able to hear the intro, but it's a beautiful day here in the Midwest. It's actually really cloudy today, but I finally just got to sit down, and dude, I am so excited to talk to you guys about what's been happening since last episode. Last episode, I was very, very blessed, and I am grateful for the opportunity I had to sit down with Reagan again, my niece, and to get some wisdom from a perspective that, you know, in our world, a lot of people don't really give credit to, and that is children. Children have their own way that they see the world. You know, they aren't really, you know, dealing with everything else in the world that's happening. You know, kids aren't directly affected yet. They still have their imaginations. They still see from an area of love rather than, you know, things like life and how it can put you down. You know, they see how we can remain, you know, kind, and the children at heart that we, you know, not all of us are, but, you know, a lot of us are, you know, children at heart. But with her perspective on bullying, with her perspective on, you know, saying no and how to, you know, make it known when you aren't happy and when you aren't feeling respected or, you know, not being treated the way that you should be treated. And you know, she really gave us her own opinion and her own stance. And, you know, I respect that. And I'm grateful that we got to hear what she had to say. But alongside that, I also have an incredible episode coming up here soon. You know, not even here soon. No, I have another episode that's coming out, you know, that should already be out actually. But I had another great conversation with my friend Sierra Reed, and I'm very excited to hear what people think of that, or what, you know, other people's thoughts or on how we, you know, on the topics that we talked about, because it's very hard in our world nowadays, in America right now, for, you know, the majority of people are noticing that, you know, it's hard to just be a human and, you know, be able to give yourself that time without that stress that you're not getting something done, or you're not doing enough, or you're not enough, and stuff like that. And, you know, we are enough. We shouldn't have to force it to be shown or for it to be noticed by anyone that we are worthy in of itself, because it's so difficult, especially if you deal with your own self-worth, and if you find it hard to have a positive positive sense of self-worth. If you feel that you are worthy, or if you feel that you're not worthy, that is a struggle, that is difficult, because, you know, not everybody is that, you know, solidified within themselves, that they believe in themselves or are confident in themselves, or, you know, just as it is, like, don't believe they are worthy enough for something amazing in their life, for amazing things to pop into their life. I am a huge believer in miracles, and I am a huge believer that I am divinely favored. And like, I have this belief in me that, everything that I want, everything that I desire, everything that I feel within my heart that is going to be mine or is mine, I truly believe and have faith and trust that it is already mine. It's only a matter of time where it will come into my life. And I think it can be difficult to get into that mindset after, countless times that you're pushed down into the ground. People are telling you this, people are telling you that, telling you you're not good enough, telling you that you don't deserve it, that you're not worthy enough for it, that it's not possible for you because you didn't have what other people had. Those are just excuses. Those are just reasons that other people use as a means to make themselves feel better, that they made the right choice not to go towards what, was burning within them, or, an excuse on why they couldn't go and chase their dreams or chase the things that truly made them feel alive. And really, it's because at the end of it all, like, some people didn't have the faith to take that risk. Some people don't have, like, even me, like, there have been plenty of times before I realized how favored I am that, like, I thought, like, I couldn't get certain things. I thought I wasn't enough for certain things. But when I got out of that mindset, when I started to look at myself in the mirror and say, I am worthy of the things I desire. I am enough for this lifestyle that I want. I am enough, and I am worthy enough to go outside and spend my days the way I want to. When we are able to get into that, it's like this, it's like a straight shot. And, although it will still take time, and although you'll still have to be patient and you'll still have to work for it, when you realize how much you are worthy of it and how much you actually are enough for the things that you desire, it's no longer, oh, I got to do all this to get there. It's more like, I get to do this because I recognize if I keep on doing this, if I keep on going, and if I keep on going towards what I want, I'm going to get it because I deserve it. And I am doing things that help me feel better, that make me feel better about myself, help me to remain more confident within my actions and my intentions. It's no longer, oh man, I have to do this so I can get there. And I just want to get, you forget about the destination, and then you just start to dive into the journey. And do I have even more for you a part of this journey? It's really cool because, when we're struggling with these kind of things in our minds, or when we're dealing with this kind of shit in our head, it can really throw you off. And that really brings me to the next thing, and that is, I talk about it a lot here in my community here that I'm building with all of you amazing people, you beautiful souls, is mushrooms and psychedelics and how they can bring us wisdom. Even when wisdom, I would say wisdom that you don't even realize you need at times. Because my most recent mushroom trip was this past week. And boy, did this experience help me see things from a different light. I don't know a lot about the people that I am building this community with when it comes to how we feel, when it comes to people and their judgments, how they view us and stuff like that. But for those who have been here for a while, know that this has been a part of my journey, and getting over what other people may think, disregarding how it may, impact me or not. Because with this mushroom trip, one of the main things I learned was it really does not fucking matter what anybody thinks of me, does not matter what anyone has to say about how I choose to live my life, how I choose to spend my money, how I choose to spend my time, who I decide to spend my time with. This mushroom tripped, yeah, but I tripped really hard. This mushroom trip taught me things from a different perspective, just like how I love. For example, I was really struggling, and I'm gonna get vulnerable in this episode with you guys, like even deeper. I have been struggling creatively in my mind for the last, I think it was only for the last 2 or 3 weeks. I was having trouble really getting into that flow, getting into what is right, what is it that I want to get out, what is it that's for me. And from time to time we tend to have these kind of moments, because when we have so much going on, we don't really know where to put it. And this is a huge topic. I was just talking about it 2 weeks ago on 2 episodes on the podcast. It's decision paralysis, and getting into this place where you don't know which decision to make or which thing to start on or which thing to get on. So it just paralyzes you, and you don't know where to go. You just sit and you just stay engulfed in this feeling of existential crisis because you don't know where to move on. And so that's what was happening to me. I was not talking about it, and it was hard for me to talk about it because I was more worried about what I thought other people wanted to see, what other people wanted to hear. There are so many people that have a podcast that can sit down and have an original thing to talk about or do something specific that helps them get back in their groove. And I found my things in the past when I was working on the podcast and when I was still early in it. And, even now, during this time, it's led me to figure it out even more. But what helped me look at my problems, I'll say quote unquote problems, what I was dealing with these problems was, how I was seeing my own work, what kind of work I like, what kind of work am I making, and am I making it for myself, or am I making it for the people? Am I making it for money? Am I making it for a platform to just build something upon? And then I saw an incredible quote. It was an incredible quote that ended up, just hitting me at the moment I needed. But I can't remember the quote now, but what I can give you is a gist of it, or like a paraphrase. It goes like, we are so engulfed in what we want, and we believe that we just do all this just to get a community, or we create just to get a following. And the people who land trends, and the people who get, so many followers, so many views, so many different things so fast, when you get picked up on a trend, that's just a trend. You'll sit there for a while that trend's going, but then you'll have to figure out how to stay on top from that moment forward. Whereas when you are building trust with your audience and your community, when you're building something that shows that you're a genuine person, not looking just for money or for clout or for fame, you're more so not doing it to sell out. You're doing it more to truthfully get like what I say I want here. And that is a community of people, like-minded or not, but more, like-minded individuals who are pushing for change, who are pushing to be interconnected, have a community that supports one another, cares for one another, lends a hand when it's needed. That's what we're building here, and we're building a community of people who are aware, not only aware of what's happening around us, but aware of what's happening within us. Being aware of ourselves, and then just trying to give ourselves in any way we can. But one of the things that led me to look at my problems of creativity, creating, or, where I was dealing with just who I was. What it took was for me to be going along a journey with an inchworm. Now, if you don't know what an inchworm is, I'll find a picture and it'll go right here or somewhere around here. And I'll show you an inchworm. Though this inchworm was so tiny that it was probably half the length of my fingernail. I noticed this inchworm gently going across my arm, tiny, just as if it just landed on me and it's trying to figure out where it's got to go from there. But because I was already feeling it a little bit at the time, I went on this journey following this tiny organism that woke up that day, go and find food. It landed on a gigantic being, didn't know where it was, but it didn't stop it from pushing forward. And I saw this inchworm get picked up by the wind twice. And it lands gently on me. And it keeps on going the moment it recognizes that it is on solid ground. No matter what its problem was, no matter how scared shitless it might be, no matter what is going through it, if it is even conscious. But from what I know, from what I believe everything on our planet is conscious, whether or not people know it or not. So this tiny organism was scared, freaking out. But I was seeing this organism pick up its shit and keep on going as if nothing happened. And it inspired me on such a high level. It inspired me because I looked at it from the perspective, I'm watching this organism go through like its own sense of like war at that point. Not war, but like it was embracing the hazards of life, picked up its weight, and kept on going, and it didn't stop, no matter how hard or scary it was. And that made me sit and be within myself and understand, as scary as it might be, not being cringe, as scary as it might be, not knowing what exactly I want to put out. And just being free of it, releasing that pressure. Because if I feel pressure to create something, it's not organic, and that means it shouldn't be made. It's not a natural form of creativity. It is because I'm forcing it. It is because it is unnaturally trying to come out because I felt it needed to go out, rather than letting it come to me and letting it just naturally happen. And dealing with moments like this, though they happen from time to time because I forget what it feels like. So come back, get a reminder. But this is the point, because of this mushroom trip that I was on, and this one area of it helped me look at my situation a little bit differently. And there was a couple other things I was dealing with at the time, dealing with, boundaries I have in certain areas of my life. There are certain people in my life that I'm trying to work on my relationship with and stuff like that. And so this helped me break through those blocks, which was my intention. My intention was to take these mushrooms and break through any brick walls that was stopping me from being my authentic self. And not only did I get to watch this inchworm for 10 minutes do its own journey into doing what it has to do, that teaching me about letting go, and just staying consistent with myself and my energy, and just trying to be easy with myself. Another huge thing is I'm not gentle on myself, and you should, not that I'm not now, but like I'm getting there and I'm doing better and I'm working on myself to be more gentle with myself. Great episode you should go and listen to is the episode that just came out, and that is my second episode with Sierra Reed, where, we talk about the balance between the masculine and the feminine. And, as me, myself, when I did this mushroom trip, this was after my time with Sierra when that episode happened, and this is the point where I was like, I really need to do something that is going to help me better in being creative or helping myself grow at all. I really admire those who put self improvement and self-development first and trying to build upon themselves. It inspires me. And so one of those ways that I was inspired was, I was in this groove where I was just go, go, go. And if I wasn't go, 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 I felt very uncomfortable. I did not like that I wasn't able to move. I wasn't able to give myself the time I needed. And so in this trip, I realized how important it is to be gentle on ourselves. I had such a hard time. Even on my episode, We Should Be Proud, I still had a hard time giving myself props and, celebrating myself on my wins and how much I've gained and where I'm at now. And, after this trip or during this trip, realizing that I can be still. I deserve it. I deserve it just as much as I deserve to get everything that I desire and want out of my life. I deserve the time I need to rest. I deserve the time I need to create. I deserve the time I need to work on myself. But being afraid of it and being afraid that you're not putting out the stuff that you like, or me being afraid that I'm putting out stuff I should put out. Like, is this what I'm supposed to put out? Or is this what it is? Letting go. Letting go of what other people think, letting go of the judgment it might receive, letting go what anybody's opinion might be on how I choose to live, on what I choose to talk about, and what I think is important, and letting it go. Simply letting go. Because if we can let go of other people's opinions and justifications and judgments on what everything is happening in the world, and if we actually put into perspective how many people don't give a fuck what other people think of them. So as we sit here and we're worried what other people think about us, those people probably don't give a shit what other people think about them, or they're the type of people where they don't give a shit what other people think, but they'll spend their time judging others subconsciously or subconsciously. They will have these reflections of themselves, not give a shit what anybody thinks of them. That's what they believe, and just go around and judge others, make them think what they're doing is incorrect because it's not the same or similar to what others do in their own path. At the end of the day, there's people who are afraid to take risks. Could you try again? And that's Siri coming in. There's people who are afraid to take risks. There are people who are afraid of putting themselves first. There are people who are afraid of doing the things that others do that they consider weird or abnormal. It's only because they're not confident within themselves to do it themselves. And they think them being the critic of other people doing it when they know very well within their brain that they want to do it, but they hold themselves at such a high expectation. And if you aren't catching on, this is me from the past too. Me having all these expectations over myself, thinking that, if I don't get this done, someone's going to be mad at me. I'm not going to get where I want to be. I'm not going to get something done. Like having all of this pressure, building all of this pressure, not realizing that it's completely imaginary. Not even supposed to be there. Doesn't even matter. Once I realized that, and dude, I've had to realize this over and over and over again, but in different ways. Like it helped, like when I learned this in different moments earlier this year, for not caring what other people think, talking about this, but still caring, still holding on to it. But once this, as I fell into this trance, into this deep experience I had, I just found understanding and helped me realize how much I really don't care what other people think of my work. I just want to do it because it's helping me, and And I'm not even saying, like, not even just work, but like, I don't care what people think of my creativity. I do it for me. I do it because the universe puts ideas in my head and it tells me, dude, this is the perfect thing for you. And I just let it be. Let it be as it is, and I dance with it. Just dance with it. Because I'm not going to be jumping for joy all the time. I'm not going to be so sad and in the mud all the time. But I'm going to be dancing between so many different emotions, feeling so many different things. I don't need to feel other people's pressure because of my own expectations or what I believe other people think of me. It's not going to make it easier for me. It's not going to take any weight off my shoulders. It's only going to add more. And, this is the shit I think about. There's people who are out there that are so nonchalant about life, thinking, oh, it doesn't fucking matter. It doesn't matter how I treat people. It doesn't matter if I care how the world's going. There are people that are so nonchalant about life that all they give a shit about is their life. These are the things that matter to me and only to me. I don't care if it, like, I can't be around energy like that because it is so selfish. You can put yourself first, but also care about other people and not care what other people think on how you are choosing to be or how you choose to live. There are times where we need to be held in place and held accountable over actions or decisions or things that we say or do to certain individuals or anybody or anything. But that's different than, speaking your mind, choosing to live the way you want to live, disregarding what anybody has to say about it. For example, there's kids. There are kids in our country, in America, and there's several kids in other places in the world as well that have to worry about what other people think based around what they like or what they're into. For example, I have family who are teachers and work in schools and work with young children. Young children nowadays are so afraid that other people are going to perceive them as certain individuals all because of certain things. An example, one of my family members has a student in their class who loves Dungeons and Dragons and just so happened to love rainbows too. But this kid, as talking to my family during this day, explaining to them what Dungeons and Dragons is, showing them the Dungeons and Dragons manual, this kid felt within themselves they had to vocalize, I know what you're thinking. You see all these rainbows, but I'm not gay. And my family literally looks at me and says, it's really fucking sad that this is what kids are worried about. This is what our country is teaching kids to be afraid of. I know what you're thinking, but I'm not gay. And that is so ridiculous to me. And it's so fucking stupid that you have to be afraid that you're going to be perceived in some fucking way all because you like something, because there are people in the world that don't like shit and want to make such a big fucking deal out of it. There are people that are so against time changing, so afraid of shit being different, and so many people who are trying to control agendas that you don't even see the fact that kids are already being hindered by this shit, being told that they have to be afraid or they are afraid in general because of how the climate is in the world, that it's still taught that if you are different, that nope, not a good thing. I don't want to be perceived as this. It really breaks my heart. The people who know me know for a fact I am a humanitarian. And I believe in fucking equality. I believe that no one should have to fucking be afraid that they're being perceived all because they love rainbows or they love specific things or literally their sexuality. Kids need to be protected. Kids need to be protected from anyone who's trying to control them or how they're going to be. And I talk about this a lot. People around me always ask me, do you want to be married? Do you want to have kids? And, I would love to have a family. I would love to have kids if I meant to have them. But at the same time, with how the political climate, how, the ideologies in the world are, where our fucking world is currently, I don't know if it's going to be better for the kids I could have. I don't know if it's going to be a safe place for them. Because if there's shit like this happening when I'm 25 years old and as I'm growing up in high school, you got to worry about how people are perceiving others and hating on people because they're different or like different things, or they're different types of people. This is not a safe place to raise kids. And, I'm not putting down anybody who wants to have kids, because anyone who has kids, I'm sure, is doing their best on raising them and doing what they believe is right for their own children. But let me hold and make that crystal clear: for their own children, not for everyone else's children. No one's taking the people who are choosing to have kids now, I hope to God, aren't going to try to take over life for all the other kids out there that don't need to lose access to certain things. And so, it's very important to put these things into perspective, because no one should have to worry about what other people fucking think, because this is how the world chooses to teach people. No one should be kept from having access to knowledge, education. No one should be held from any, there's so much I could go on just on that subject. But I think I got out what I need to get out. But I'm very, very blessed that I have been able to get to the point in my own life where I can surely let go of whatever the fuck anybody may think on what I'm making, what I'm saying, because I am aligned with myself and who I am, and because I've tore down those programs of, be careful, you can't say these certain things around these individuals because they're going to get mad. I don't care anymore. I don't give a fuck if you're mad. If you're mad, that shows you are upset about something on your own end, and I don't give a shit if you're upset about that. I just don't. Because me caring about that, obviously, like I said, when it comes to actions or things that I am to do that are obviously wrong and I'm being held accountable, completely different. But if I'm making my own art, if I'm making stuff I like, if I'm doing the things that I like, if I'm being the person I like, if I'm being the me that I truly like, I don't care what anybody has to say about it. And if anybody has anything to say about it, that's a direct reflection of themselves. And how I respond is the reflection of me. But don't get me wrong, I will hold strong. And I don't care about having to hold my place, staying like a tree. I'll do it. As well, one of the main things I was able to take from my psychedelic trip, or, not even, actually, I can get off of that. I think I'm done with that. Another thing I want to talk about is something I did not pay attention to in the past, or at least I didn't notice until yesterday or the day before. But after my trip last week, it was about 3 or 4 days where I put more time into myself, let go of things that, my brain was trying to tell me I have to do or I got to do. And then each time that kind of thought came up, I was like, I get to do it. I get to do it. I'm so excited to do it. I've been influencing that into my positive self-talk. But I recognized that I immediately, not immediately, but on my off days this past weekend and on Labor Day, I chose to spend them, playing video games. So I played Cyberpunk all weekend. And it came to me from someone, someone new that I've been, building a friendship with. And they were like, Maybe it's a way for you to escape. And, for a moment there, I was like, wait a minute. That could make sense, and that makes sense. And it made me think about it more. Do I use video games as an escape, or did I just want to give myself more time to do something I truly wanted to do because I felt so much in the past that, I don't have time to play video games. I can't play video games. I got all this I got to do just to be in decision paralysis and not do anything to my level of, what I believe is good. I'm the type of person where I'm not going to put something out unless she really just wants to keep talking to me. But it's like she completely threw me off. See, I'm going to turn that off so then she can't come in every single time that I'm trying to talk about something, be in deep thought, because, you say one thing that sounds like Siri, and then she's like, oh, what? You said my name? You see my name? I don't understand that. But I was able to spend my time playing video games instead of beating down on myself, telling myself that I don't have time to do this. There's other things I got to do. I deserve to play or do whatever I think is a great way to de-stress or get any of that, intrusive thoughts in my head trying to make me feel bad on how I spend my time. Because it's I used to hold such a high expectation on myself that was so unrealistic that I didn't even give myself the opportunity to rest. And even when I was resting, I was scared shitless that I wasn't doing enough. It was as if I was running this imaginary rat race towards success, even though I have thousands of, posts and shit that could sit here and tell me everything is okay. Rest, you deserve it. My brain was like, oh, no, you can't do that. That's too scary. We'll be behind everybody. It's not a fucking race. I'm not behind anybody. I'm not last. I'm not first. I'm doing me, and I'm going at the fucking speed I want to go. Instead of being so afraid that I'm not getting done what I need to get done. Another thing that I realized that I just don't have the energy for anymore. Social media. It was so unhealthy, and it's I would say it's still an unhealthy habit I have, that when it comes to the podcast, with wanting to get things out, with wanting to make content, one of the things I consider myself is a content creator. So for me to have to be attached to social media, to be able to be posting so often, then I see this podcast clip of Casey Neistat's on Rich Roll on his podcast. And he's like, Casey Neistat's saying, every single time I have this great and wonderful thought, or any time that I really wanted to post something on Twitter, instead of doing it, I chose not to. Because nowadays, influencers have made this this way of work so unhealthy that you gotta be posting or showing your life or show that you're doing something so constant all the time just to reach people and just to gain this following, just to keep this following, constant. You look at artists and creatives like Quentin Tarantino, he's not on Instagram or Twitter all year round. He goes away for 8 years and then he comes back. Everyone's wondering where he's been. He just made another great fucking movie. This whole idea that you got to do this lifestyle, or you got to be on social media all the time, or you got to show a piece of your life, or you got to be something of a fucking, you got to be some sort of person of interest to be a creative, to be influential, to have a platform. You don't need to. Be intentional about your work. I'm very intentional about my work, and I can be very critical on work that I don't think meets that intention. If my work has to meet a level that I believe is good, then I put it out. I am much happier with that than just throwing out a magazine worth of shit that's not going to be as quality, that's not going to be as good of my own work. That's why quality over quantity is so important. You can have an idea, put it in your fucking camera and do something right then and there and see where it goes from there, or you can work very detailed and very intentional on what you're trying to put out, and it can have a whole entire different effect, because it's no longer shit that you think people want to see, and it's shit that you like. Stuff that you want, stuff that you think needs to be talked about. Stop the whole desire to be liked. Stop the whole desire to be seen as a specific individual or specific persona. You know, you are yourself. I am me. I get to be here and do my own kind of art. Podcasting and having a podcast is not my only way of expressing myself, but is one of my favorite ways of expressing myself. I love being able to talk about how I'm growing or what I'm going through or how I'm building upon myself, or I like to sit down and talk to people about shit that I don't know a lot about and that I get to be schooled on and I get to know a little bit more about and have a little bit more knowledge on it. As a person who likes to teach and as a person who likes to learn, it's a constant. Whether or not it's helping anyone else or not, like, it reaches the right audience. My art will reach the right audience. And if this isn't the actual thing I'm supposed to be doing, this is just the transition. This is what teaches me more about myself. And the more I stop caring what other people might think of what I'm doing, I continue along the path of finding myself deeper. When there's other people who are too afraid to find themselves or too afraid to go within or too afraid to open up about shit that they're so judgy about that they don't even realize might actually consider them too. It's just a lot to really put into perspective for someone on 8 hours while on mushrooms. I'm just saying. But I think whether or not people understand or whether or not, just do what it is that makes you feel alive. And it's hard as fuck to do it worrying about what other people think, because that's going to be one of the main things that stops you from keeping yourself going forward. Once you let go of what others might say or what others might think, it stops. Once you let go, you're just more clear-minded. And sometimes you're not going to be clear-minded. And you're going to think, oh, shit, what am I going to put out? What am I going to make? Instead of asking that in the sense of what others need to see, what do you want to make? What do I want to make? What do I want to talk about? Instead of worrying about what other people want to talk about. If you're dealing with your shit, if you're having a hard time coming out to your family because your family is completely different from the way you are, your family doesn't think the way you think, and you're so afraid what they're going to say, I'm with you. I'm right next to you. You're not alone. There are several things. There are several things where you're going to be in this place where you're so afraid of being yourself. But the longer you are afraid of being who you are, the longer you are afraid of what others are going to think, it's going to stop you from achieving your success. It's going to stop you from achieving your greatest potential. But you're ready for it. If you're here talking to me, or if you're here listening, watching this, you're ready. You're no longer dealing with it. You no longer will deal with it because you're choosing to say, fuck everybody else that does not want to see me for who I am and listen to me or see my art for what it is. No more. I only want the people who are for me. And if that means I have to see all these other people leave, then fine. Because that only shows you who really gave a fuck about you in the end. Ever since I heard this, it stayed to me. And, to others, it may not make sense, but to me, it makes so much sense. Even the people that are your blood, even the people that are your relatives that are in your blood, in your family, if they weren't your family, what are the odds they would like you and hang out with you and be around you anyway? So when you're sitting there and you're afraid because you don't know what these people are going to say, and these are the only people you've known, and these are the only people that have ever been in your life because you haven't been able to get outside of more, or you haven't found the people that love you and understand you and see you for who you are, remember that. Remember that. The people who are in your family, if they weren't your blood, some of them wouldn't even want to be around you, because some of them are either already so far within themselves that they don't like you, or they don't feel this, feel that. When we let go of what other people are going to think, or what other people think of us, or what people are saying about us, or what people even fucking believe of the stuff we're doing with our own life, I let go of it because it was not helping me put out what I want or put out what I like. It wasn't helping me be more of myself. What it was doing was holding me back. All because I was afraid that people around me are going to shit talk me. People are going to call me names. People are going to be disrespectful to me. But if that's all they are, if that's what they choose to do, if that's how they choose to use their time when they have time with me, they don't have access to me. And they'll question, they'll wonder, they'll say, why is Tristan, or why is Tristan that? And I'll say, that's your fucking opinion, because I'm doing just fine on my end. I'm not affected. I'm not hurting anybody. I'm being me. It's a difference between closing yourself off to people and just choosing to be bitter. And it's different compared to placing a boundary because you know within yourself and that you feel it, that you're not respected for the individual you are. You don't deserve that. If you give people a safe space, if you make space for people because you're kind and generous and giving and compassionate, and people choose not to do the same for you, and they choose not to reciprocate that, or they choose to just disrespect you regardless of you making space, they don't care. They don't want to do the work. They don't even want to put in the effort. That's their choice. How you respond is only yours. And how you choose to move forward in your own life from their behavior, or how they choose to treat you, only shows you what to put up with and what not to put up with, what you'll allow in your field and what you will not allow in your field. And that is empowering, because you get to say who gets to be around you. You get to say who gets to have a piece of you. You get to say who gets to be fucking near you and experience you. And whoever does not respect that or respect you does not get to hold space with you. They don't. They don't deserve the access. And they can question it. They can get hurt. They can be so sad and beat up, and they can beat themselves up, and they can think you're a monster. You're not a monster for putting yourself first in that regard. Dude, listen. No one, and I mean no one, should put up with that shit, even if it's family. Oh, it's your family. You got to be able to push it aside. No, because if it was your family, it would be unconditional. Very high energy, I know. Very to the point, gritty. I get it. But I was, especially after this past mushroom trip, I stopped wanting to beat down on myself. I was tired of beating down on myself. I was tired of thinking what other people thought about the work, or the work I was putting in, or I was tired of people, not the proper way. I was tired of people pleasing. I was tired of putting what I thought others thought I needed to create First, I wasn't being me authentically. I was acting. I wasn't being me. And I don't like that. I don't like being a fake. I don't like having a mask over my face, because I really appreciate vulnerability. I appreciate people who want to show you the good things and the bad. I like seeing both sides. I like people who are, solidified in themselves enough to be like, yeah, I fucked up on this, but I'm doing great work over here because of it. Because I fucked up, or because I took a turn that led me to have to rebuild on myself, rebuild my character, reflect on my own actions, or reflect on how I was treating people every single time that I may have fucked up and felt really bad for the way I treated someone or how I was choosing to behave. I'm happy that it led me to exactly who I am now. And I'm tired of being so hard on myself. I'm ready to be gentle. I'm going to be gentle to myself. And if I feel that I can't put out what I like most, or like if I am not putting in what I think is me, and if I'm not getting what is me, then I will reflect on it. And I will do what makes me truly happy. Regardless if it's liked, regardless if it's going to be appreciated, I appreciate my work. I appreciate my creativity. I appreciate what I put out for the world to see. There's so many people who are afraid to do it. So many people afraid to put pen on paper. But I promise, the more you choose to put that time into yourself, the more you choose to go into that flow of what makes you feel alive, you're going to recognize that power within you. And it's going to lead you to transforming your entire life. The second you stop caring what other people want out of you, when you stop caring what you think the world needs or what the world wants from you, put yourself in. Dive deep. I want to change the world in a positive way. I'm going to change the world in a positive way, and I am. I am changing the world. One soul at a time. Whether or not you're new, whether or not you've been here since the very beginning. You're still here. You are still ready. This is what you've been looking for. This is that time. This is this time right now in the present moment as we're here. Place what you love first. Care for yourself in the areas that you need to take care of. Do not care what other people think about your work. Put in everything that you can, that you will love. And it's just going to work. And it's going to come at the exact time as you need. Do not be worried about where you got to go, where you got to be, and how much time you have. Embrace the present moment. You got a million things on your mind, I know. We got to find that quiet place. We got to find the time to build that quiet, still voice in your mind. And if you don't have an internal voice, follow your gut. And if you don't know what it's like to follow your gut, tune in within yourself. Because if you build the strength within yourself by tuning in, figuring out what feels good or what's off, and being able to label it, be able to navigate by what you are feeling. Other people say you can't trust your feelings all the time. Maybe that is true. But if one of your superpowers is your empathy, I can almost guarantee that you can trust that wholeheartedly. That's why you have your mind, your heart, and your gut, dude. It's going to tell you, it's going to be there. Build that still voice in your mind. I think it's going to work out for you. But Find your own way into that. Do the work that you need to do for your own self. You're unique. Certain things will only work for you, so find them. If you feel that that is worth your time, you can't be afraid what you're missing out on. You can't be afraid that it's not the right thing. You can't be afraid that it's not the right time to do it. If you are already thinking in your mind that you gotta do this, not even have to, if you feel in your mind that it is the right thing for you to do, putting more time into it is not a bad thing. It's not a waste of your time. Putting in that time and putting in that effort is going to do more for you in the future than you may even realize. But because our world just teaches instant gratification, it teaches having to get right now. That's not teaching you long-lasting gratification. That's not teaching you being grateful for everything you already have. Because our world teaches you how much you need to have and how much you need to go get. You need to go work your butt off just to be able to get that nice car you've always wanted or that nice house that you keep on passing by. The things that you want and the things that you desire are already yours. They're coming to you. It just takes time. When we get out of the idea of how fast we need to get there, think about it. If you skipped all the way there, you wouldn't even be able to comprehend it all. You'd just be like, holy shit. Think about how much you have to learn. Think about all the people that get rich really, really fast and they don't know what to do with it. They don't know where to put it. They don't know where to go. And then they fall into traps. They fall into holes and, they fall into the mud, and then they have a hard time getting out because they didn't have the proper lessons that they needed to learn beforehand. Every single time we desire winning the lottery, what will you actually do when you get that money? How are you going to comprehend all the shit you'll have to do when you get that money? Oh, I'm not worried about that. I'm just worried about the money. You can't be worried about the thing you want, but then not know how to navigate once you receive it. So work on yourself where you need to work on yourself. Allow the lessons you need to learn to come into your life. Let life build you. Let life form you. Let life show you what it is that you truly want out of it. You are going to be shown what corporations want to show you. You're going to have constant marketing going through your fucking eyeballs, synthesizing down into every framework of your brain. May not even make sense. But we are constantly sold shit on a daily basis. Don't allow that to control how you navigate your life. Take what is yours. Be grateful what's given to you. Because the more you're grateful, the more that comes to you. And it's so cliche to hear, dude, that doesn't even make sense. How does that happen? Oh, you can't just say that and not work for it. You're working for it. You're making a daily effort to get after what it is that you desire. You're letting go of the fact of chasing it. You're letting go of chasing it, and you're allowing it to just come to you as you go in, day out, doing what you love. That is the goal, to become okay with it.
Here's what I found.
She did it again. And I didn't even say your fucking name. I didn't even say, hey. Until now. So I'm not even going to say it. But Cool and Calm by Sticky Fingers, I think. I could be wrong. Hey. I love you guys. I love me. I love giving myself this part of me. Because not a lot of people have that. Not a lot of people have the environment. You have any idea how important your environment is? You have any idea how important it is for you to realize what is actually good for you and what's not? Dude, listen, it's hard and it hurts and it's so scary when you don't feel supported or accepted or loved in the way that you need in the environment you're in. So to find one like here with me, have this environment where it pushes you to love on yourself. You don't find this anywhere. And you don't find this in a place that's not seeking to build a community with those people. You know, most places are just making products so then they can get money out of people. You know, we got to make a living. Absolutely. And I would love to make a living off of this. Whether or not it happens, it's not my goal. My goal is to build a community of people who come here to follow another person on their own journey, take what's happening in that person's journey, and if it resonates with them and if it leads them to have, help them make better decisions for their own life, well, golly, man, I'm happy with that. Whatever else comes afterwards is just a even bigger blessing and an added extra to it. And I will exasperate how grateful I am every single time. Does not matter. Because what it may think to others or what it may come out to be to others, I know I'm grateful for it. And I know I'm so very blessed. And that if I get to have this community, a lot of other people get to have their own communities too. Whether or not you take that risk is up to you. But with that, I think this is honestly a great place for us to just relax, take it easy, let go of any sort of weight that does not help us live lives that make us happy. And don't hey, it doesn't have to be as deep as you think it might be. Sometimes it just takes actually giving a little bit more to yourself than you've been giving, though. And if it's selfish for you to not be good to people and to do things for other people and to do things out of the kindness of your heart for others, it's just as selfish not to do the same for yourself, especially if you've been giving more of yourself to other people and not having enough for you after. Put yourself first. Fill your cup. Lead a life for yourself that makes you proud, that you're proud of. And don't let anyone else stop you or tell you that you're wrong for it. Because they're the ones that are wrong. Much love to all of you. I hope you all have a wonderful rest of your week. I hope that today brings you immense blessings and it brings you greatness. And with that, I would like to say, I hope you all have a wonderful morning, a wonderful afternoon, a wonderful evening, and a wonderful night.